Good morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're off to Bourton on the Water, and we're off on the line from Bourton on the Water to Aston Farm. That's probably a mile and a half ish. The intention is to start at Aston Farm, which is up here. And have a look at this first anomaly, which, if you can see that there where the pointer is, the railway stops abruptly, and at that point is where the private road into Aston Farm would have gone under the railway. So in theory there should be an accommodation bridge there. We'll have a look at that. I can't see it actually on the Google Earth map. Beyond that, up there is nothing, presumably all grubbed out. We might be able to see that from the end of the line. So to get to that point, there's a footpath, crosses the railway about there, and then it comes out of off the railway all the way down the side of this field. It's rather a splendid footpath, as footpaths go, as you'll see in the there's the film, comes all the way down there, look, and then out through a gate onto the side of the road on the Fossway, A49 Fossway. I've parked about there. There is it's basically a bald piece of verge that somebody's chucked a load of road chippings at. So it's hard parking, even when it's really wet. You can park there. Try and get as far off the road as you can though, because it's that there is an excellent black spot. It's not a very nice place, and you have to be careful when you walk across the bridge. There's the river that crosses the River Windrush just there. Be very careful there, because it's just a narrow strip of grass. We don't want people falling out in the road in front of cars, do we? So that's it. So there would have been an overbridge there, railway overbridge. That embankment, which starts somewhere back here and then crosses what was the overbridge, and then sweeps round off the picture into what was Bourton railway station. We'll have a look at that in a future video. So the only question mark I've got is, as you'll see in the video, whoever owns this farm and this land, including this piece of ground here, doesn't seem to be very keen on people trespassing on said land. I've noticed there's a lot of horses out in these fields, or well, there were when I shot the film in early October. So whether it's a stud, or whether it's just they breed horses, dressage horses, or what, I don't know. But that section of line there, yet to be confirmed, might not be accessible. So let us hope there's something of interest in that bit of line there. I'm thinking perhaps there might be. So that's it. So I'm parked there, and basically let's get out in the field and see what we can find. Okay, we're currently heading towards Aston Farm on a well-trodden footpath. I'll just show you over to my left. Just in front of that line of poplar trees, you can see there is the River Windrush, and over to my right, that line of trees is the Banbury and Cheltenham direct railway line heading into Bourton on the Water. So I'm going to start from Aston Farm, basically because I've had to park the car at Bourton on the Water and walk in, so it's the easiest to do it from Aston Farm and come back to walk back to the car. So we'll carry on up this footpath until we can gain access to the railway. And by the looks of things now, the path's starting to curve around to the right, so hopefully the Google Earth map was right, and pretty soon we'll be up on the old track bed. And now we finally are approaching the old railway line up ahead.
I've never walked this section of the line before. I've walked some of it farther up, but I've never walked this one. Autumn then. The season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. Those beautiful colours. And the old man's beard is all gone to seed, otherwise known as Traveller's Joy. World clematis. That's one hell of a tangle. So I don't know if it's overgrown, whether it's all open, you can access it easily. Another couple of minutes and we'll know. Oh, this is definitely the railway. Not looking very promising in that direction, I have to admit. But, let's have a look. Let's get on top of this bit of embankment and have a look. Okay, so we're still on the same footpath. This has to be the track bed then. So this is heading in the direction of Ashton Farm, and this is quite a nice bit of a walk here. Just stop for a minute there because I think we've just passed a culvert, so I'll turn about and go back. Now let's see what we have down in this gully. Now the first question is that a watercourse? And I think the answer to that is probably no. That looks like a bit of a what they call in Devon a Devon lane. It's not obviously in the same scale, much shallower. That's definitely not a watercourse. So what we've got behind us is not a culvert. There's a dry stone wall in there as well, and a dry stone wall, or a bit of one just there, and a dry stone wall all the way along there. So let's go and have a look at the structure. And get to it. And there we are, a very nice but very low, what I think is an accommodation bridge. Let's have a look at the structure on the side. Buttress, nice stone capped abutment there. That's the same on the other side with a nice motif on the face edge. Mostly blue brick. Same on the other side. It's difficult to see the abutment there, but it's all buried in ivy. Okay, let's have a look under the bridge. Red brick. So the first course was red brick. Huge pile of stone there, I don't know what that's for. Just lying there. And there are some square holes. There's a square hole there. Another square hole just there. Looks like they go back about a brick width. Same on the other side. Just there. And another one just there. I wonder what they're for. Is that timber beams? Possibly to support the form when they built the arch, when they constructed the arch. There's a metal peg there. Not sure what that relates to. You can see that. Yeah, interesting. Somebody's mattress. Fancy sleeping rough up here. And out into the daylight again. And we've got a mirror image on this side, as you'd expect. Abutment wall. You'd expect same motif on the abutment on the end, and similarly on this side. Buttress, abutment wall. I'll just go around the other side, have a look at that. Rather nice detail on that, on the edge there. Look at that. That's taking pride in your work. That's really nice. Lovely little bridge. So I think that was an access and a bridge to allow the farmer to drive his sheep, because we're on the high Wolds here, so that would have been definitely been sheep, and that was a bridge to drive the sheep, probably from the higher pastures down to the lower pastures. I can't see a gate here, but there could very well have been one in the past. There's a field just out through the trees there, so I think that's an accommodation bridge for the farmer to move his sheep around. Very nice. I'm really pleased to find that. And we've got a really steep embankment now. Don't know if you can see that, how deep that is down in there. Probably not. And now that embankment has got absolutely massive. You can't even see the bottom from here now. That's a long way down there. And the same on the other side. That's quite a drop down there. I wouldn't want to fall down there. Or not today. And way down there, you can see the trees reflecting in the water as the River Windrush. And down there is a culvert. I can see the stonework, and I'll see if I can get down there so that we can have a look. Got halfway down the embankment, slowly making my way towards that culvert. With a bit of luck. Keep your fingers crossed. It's just ahead. This ivy ground cover doesn't really help the situation. But you can just about see it in front. I'm starting to get a bit slippery. Try not to stand on any sticks that are facing downhill, otherwise I'm going to end up rapidly on my backside at the bottom. Bear with me a second. Whew. Made it. just move around a little bit more. That is actually the River Windrush. Just a fraction more. And there we have it. Look at that. Same design as that little accommodation bridge, if that's exactly what it was, I don't know. Blue brick in very good condition again. And there's a fair bit of water going through there. Lovely. At least I found that one. Back on the top of the embankment then, and I'm just about to make out the Windrush down through the trees. Now the question is, can we get to the southern portal of the culvert? Have a look over here. And that's probably going to be a bit of a climb down, but you can hear the water, I think, in the distance, but there's quite a few trees to bounce off, so I'm going to have a go at getting down there. Wish me luck. And I've managed to climb down the opposite side of this rather huge embankment, and I'm standing right next to the River Windrush again. So what I'm going to try and do is pick my way through that lot and see if we can find the point where the River Windrush exits the embankment. And I can hear rushing water ahead, so I'll just shut down for a minute and we'll venture forward. And I haven't gone very far before I find the railway fence, the railway fence line. Not a lot of it left. That's timber strut and strainer. That one's concrete, still see the line wires on it. And way down there, there's the river, where you can see that. There's another concrete post. So we're just inside the southern boundary of the railway line. And I'll press on. And there we are then, the other end of the massive culvert. What a sight. Absolutely beautiful. Much more overgrown than the north end, being the south end. The water seems to have picked up a fair lick of speed on its journey from north to south. Look at that, look. Absolutely beautiful. Well worth the climb down to see this. And back again. Can't get any closer this side, it's literally a drop straight off into the water, so the same arrangement as the other side. Buttresses and abutments with stone caps. A bit more red brick this end on the arch by the looks of it, but still, once again, in very, very good condition. Absolutely beautiful. Stand here for hours. And a quick look down from the top of the bridge. What a beautiful sound. on the top of a huge embankment then. Nice to find the River Windrush down in the valley. And we'll just press on and see where this takes us. I reckon we're still about 50 yards from the where the railway abruptly stops, and we see the private road into Aston Farm. Still got a reasonably decent footpath. It's nice and open. Have a look over there to the left. You can see that down that dry stone wall down there. The embankment now is rapidly tapering out, a lot shallower over the last 50 or so yards. So we must be getting close to the to Aston Farm. So we'll press on a bit farther and see if we can get to the end. Well, we've arrived at the private road into Aston Farm, and there must have been an accommodation bridge here, because we're at least 12 feet up from the road surface. Can't see any sign of any structure. It looks as if it was fenced off. There's some wooden fence post rails. It looks as though it was fenced off when the railway closed. There's a metal gate wired into the gap. Can't see anything on the other side. They must have completely removed that combination bridge. Oh well, at least we know what's there. That probably explains the gap between here and the next section of railway. They just ripped the whole lot out. There you go. That just about ends our little journey. About 100 yards up there, the railway track continues, and that will be the subject of a future video. And you can see the willow herb there, greater willow herb or fireweed. It's gone to seed. It's a sure sign that autumn's arrived and winter's not far away. Let's pan around and have a look. Vista. That's the fields there. Trees are still quite green actually, it's surprising. But yeah, this gives you a general idea. It's high on the Wolds up here. Must have been quite bleak when it was all open and the railway was active. Imagine being up here in 1963, that would have been fun. Not. Okay, we've reached the top of the footpath again, and noticed quite a few security signs around here. I don't know if you can see that one up that tree. CCTV in operation. What are they hiding up here then? Nice odd. It's not the first one. I've seen several through this on this walk as well. And back to where the footpath joins, and camera's pointing in the direction of Bourton on the Water on the railway line. That doesn't look promising, does it? That doesn't look promising at all. We'll have to have a look round. And our route appears to be blocked by that private keep out. Don't know what right they've got to put that there, but rather substantial post and rail fence. And down in there, oh, it's very overgrown. So there's a couple of features still on the line between here and Bourton that I'll point out on the way back down the mandatory footpath, for want of a better word, and we'll just have to head back for Bourton. And a quick look back at where we've just come from. That's about a good mile and a quarter up from the road, and at last the sun started to poke through. And as the line approaches Bourton on the Water road bridge, it becomes quite a steep embankment. I don't know if you can see in there, it's hardly visible. There's a patch of stinging nettles in the middle of the picture, and behind there is an accommodation bridge that was filled in, still there. It was filled in the early 1990s. Why, I don't know. Again, it's a question of access. They don't want people, they obviously don't want people on this land. It was open for a long time, 1970s, 1980s. It was plainly visible and you could walk through it, but when this current owner took over, I say in the early 1990s, I'm guessing they decided that the railway track and any access from it was a no-go. Hence all the signage and the fencing and the blocked off tunnels and etc. Blocked off bridges, I should say. So there you have it. There's very little infrastructure between here and the section we've just walked. Say apart from this accommodation bridge and the road bridge, which is over the Foss Way, about 50 yards from here, or used to, and that's about it. And the missing piece of the puzzle, the Bourton on the Water Foss Way overbridge, dismantled I don't know when, mid 1960s, late 1960s, possibly even early 1970s. So to fill the gap, I'll put up a nice picture, and you can see what it looked like. The River Windrush, just before it passes under the Foss Way road bridge on the A429 going into Bourton on the Water.